Very nice music from the band. Earlier on, we were looking at what Kenyans are going to vote for, what they don't want or what they want, and it raised quite an intellectual discussion here. Mheshimiwa, I'll come back to you before we go to our next story, but I want to give Deputy Governor Nairobi, Jonathan Mweke, just 30 seconds to react to what your resident said.
Well,
he says you people have failed.
Yes.
Miserably.
Yes. Mheshimiwa Yusuf spoke about indicators. He said we are a failed city, and he also said that we look like we're in a war zone. Yeah. Let's just separate fact from politics, because I think that's what separates populists from leaders. Okay. Nairobi now has become #1 under our leadership. We were #5 in 2013. Now we are #1 in foreign direct investment. What this means, Charles, is when people are looking where to put their money from around the world, they choose Nairobi. I don't think anybody wants to choose a failed city to put their money. That's #1. #2, we have hosted more international conferences. We've had 39 African presidents come to Kenya at the same time. We've hosted President Obama with the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, first ever to happen in Africa. The Tokyo Summit, first ever to happen in Africa. We've hosted 146 ministers from the World Trade Organization. We're the only city who's hosted the United Nations Trade and Development Conference twice in the entire globe. All these people would not want to come here if we're a failed city. These are just some small indicators. I can go on and on. In February this year, Nairobi was voted as the third, as one of the top 3 most likely destinations for people to want to visit globally. Why would anybody want to come from London and from France to come here? We've also been named as the most innovative city in Africa. So some of those indicators just show that something is happening in Nairobi. And it's all happened between 2013 and 2017.
But I think that's because of the dynamic
you had your
culture.
chance. I just want
okay.
I just want to explain to
the
Kenyans.
The population of Nairobi is what makes Nairobi, not the government.
I just want to explain to Kenyans, yeah, that if a city is so filthy, and if a city has broken down systems, and if a city is a failed city, like Mheshimiwa Yusuf has said, people would not want to go there.
Even if it was strategically located.
Even if it was strategically located. Somalia is strategically located. It is. Mogadishu is. Why aren't all these people going to Mogadishu? Yeah. Now, I want to take it home to Mheshimiwa Yusuf and explain to him, and explain to him why he lost in the nominations.
No, he has the ticket.
He has the ticket, but do you know what happened?
But
no,
that's not true at all.
Yeah, Simon Bugwa won the ticket. He was told to step down from Mheshimiwa Yusuf because they needed a Somali candidate, and
but
now
that is not true at all.
He's on his way to the East Africa Legislative Assembly.
The deputy governor is
let me finish.
You're peddling lies. You're peddling lies here. Let's correct that.
Let me talk about that. Okay, you'll correct that.
No, that is a lie.
Just finish with
this. Let me finish about
Kamkunji.
Finish with this issue of Nairobi.
He's just lying as he's lying about Nairobi.
Okay, let me finish about Kamkunji. Let me finish about Kamkunji.
Tell us what your government has done in Kamkunji.
Yes, I'll just tell about his own constituency. Yeah. Mheshimiwa Yusuf, you'll admit that Isili has never been better. We've cleaned up Isili. All your business community now, the shops used to open until 5, now they're opening until 10. All of them have business licenses that they get from their own premises. There's 54 malls in Isili. All of a sudden on First Avenue, you can drive, there's no matatus, there's no dirt, and it's clean and lit. You know that.
Yeah, but let's
hold on. Let me say the second thing. Let's say the second thing. Yeah. Let's go to Gikomba. All of a sudden in Gikomba,
that's in his constituency.
Yes, again, the road has been done. The traders have been allocated properly.
It's done by the central government.
No,
absolutely not.
It's done by us. But these are the feeder roads we are all talking about.
There is not a single road that you have done in Gikomba. It's absolutely not true.
Why don't we just
Bingo Road is being built by Kura.
Who has done these roads?
I have done. The Kera Road that has been done.
But who has contracted Kura to do it?
No, it's Kera. It comes from Kera. It's my own budget.
Okay, let's pick it from here.
Yeah, no, let me finish. I had three things.
Yes, you will finish. We will finish. It's important that we get the fact. Sorry, Mheshimiwa Kaluma, we are putting you out of this. You're a resident of Nairobi.
I now hear Kera is building urban roads.
I'm shocked.
Yet have no money to do rural roads. Kenya Rural Roads Authority.
Gentlemen, let's have order.
Yes.
Building roads in Nairobi City.
Okay, Jonathan.
Yet we don't have money for...
Hassan, Mheshimiwa Kaluma.
Let's do a fact check.
Gentlemen, you're
I get a budget from Kera every year to do roads.
You're honorable members. Just like it is in Parliament. When the Speaker calls for order, let's have some order. So that the people who are watching can be able to
But you have not corrected
internalize. And that is why I'm telling you,
you have
just calm down. I can't correct it. You can correct it. You have the chance. Mheshimiwa Kaluma, does Kera do urban roads according to the law?
Is Kenya Rural Roads Authority. And I can tell you, in Homa Bay Town constituency, we are really struggling to...
What does the law say? What is their mandate?
It is for rural roads.
Thank you.
It's for rural roads.
So
this is misallocation.
Three things I'm giving you a chance to respond to. One, Deputy Governor said you lost. As far as I'm concerned, you have the certificate. You won. Deputy Governor says they have cleaned up First Avenue in Isili. You can now drive through. Business people can operate up to 10 o'clock in the night. Tell us if this is a fact or if it's not. And of course, tell us about Kura and Gikomba Road.
Yes, let me first of all speak on the nomination. Our nomination happened. I won with a landslide, 4,000 votes more than my next competitor. The returning officer then did something corruptly. I went to the tribunal and I won in the tribunal. And I've been declared the nominee for Jubilee in Kamkunji.
And you have the certificate?
There is no doubt about that. The second element is he talks about Isli. The major road, First Avenue, Genowarungi, these roads that have opened up Isli were built by the government, the central government, under the Kura project. Kera, which is the Rural Roads Authority, does roads in Nairobi. You ask every member of parliament. I get a budget every year to build particular roads. The road that he's talking about in Kamkunji, which is in Gikomba, was built under that Kera project, which comes under my CDF funding. And we get an allocation every year.
The 54 malls.
Yeah, 54 malls.
That are licensed. Who licensed them?
Isli is a dynamic place. Gikomba is a dynamic place. Despite the poor performance of the government, the county government, the dynamic business people have made Gikomba a successful market. Dynamic business people have made Isli a successful business center. And despite that, they are suffering because the roads have not been done. In the case of Gikomba, the governor, Kidero, has gone there several times to say that he's going to build Digo Road, which is the only road that goes right in front of the Gikomba market.
And the lights on First Avenue?
The lights have been done by the central government. It's the Kenya Power and Lighting. It has nothing to do with the local government.
Digo Road.
Absolutely.
Digo Road in Gikomba. Is it done or not done?
It's under construction at the moment.
It's under construction.
And why it took a while is because the hawkers were all the way on the road and the contractor couldn't move to site.
But who is doing it? It has been done by the central government.
Hold on.
Yes, it's Kura.
Hold on.
Yes.
Let me respond to that. Yeah, we have thousands of kilometers of roads in Nairobi. Within the county, we've not been able to build up capacity to do all those roads at the same time because we wanted to do them in a short time. We contracted Kura. They're a contractor, just like I'd give Charles.
Because they have the capacity.
So what happens is Kura comes to us. We tell them, we need you to do for us this road as a contractor. Why we choose Kura is because it's government to government. And because we want to do it quickly, we don't have to go through a lengthy tendering
So
process.
the Nairobi County government is the financier.
We pay Kura. We just pay them 100.
Absolutely not true in the case of Digo Road.
Let's just do this. Yes. Next Monday we'll be here.
I put into the budget in the finance department.
All right, what we do?
The
best
Monday
thing I'll do is Monday.
I'll bring the documents.
I'll invite you. Please come with the documents.
Yeah,
from
you come
CDF,
with the documents.
The money you allocated, he will come with his.
Now Kenya Power.
Let's put this to rest.
Hold on a second. Kenya Power, the same thing. We had 20,000 lights in Nairobi in 2013. Out of those 20,000, 12 didn't work. Only 8,000 worked. Now we have 60,000 lights in Nairobi. Because we wanted to do all that work in a very short time, our engineers contracted Kenya Power to do that. And we paid Kenya Power 900 million shillings. I'll come with the documents. You come with the documents showing that it came from Treasury.
Fair enough.
Okay?
Fair enough.
So you can't sit here and say...
Fair enough, Jonathan. This comes to play, what you had said. Looks like Nairobi County is doing so much, but they're not talking about it. So somebody would come up and say, but I think this will be rested on Monday.
Actually, they have allowed the national government to take a lot of credit for the good work they are doing. You know, even, you know, the investors coming, even the big visitors who have been coming to Nairobi, you know, they have allowed the national, you know, government, by their silence, to take a lot of credit on it. Charles, imagine you had 94,000 students. And I started by telling you, I now know students are beneficiaries.
That's a political rally at Uhuru Park.
If you had 94,000 students at Uhuru Park, and you are giving them this money annually, would anybody contest against you? I mean, let us agree, Yusuf.
Let's move on,
the proposition, Charles, that we can, you know, replace Kidero with Sonko, to me, is something not entertainable to any person who knows where the cities are going around the world.
And that's for the Nairobi voter to decide. Apparently, Yusuf Hassan is one of them. Moving on, we are talking about the issues of affecting the common mwananchi. One of them is food prices. Now, there's a new battle in the House. The president, while addressing a delegate from the Jubilee Party, said that this issue will be brought to Parliament when you people resume next week. And tomorrow. Tomorrow, actually, sorry about that. So that a solution is found to the suffering of Kenyans. But look what the Federation of Kenya Employers Executive Director Jacqueline Mugo says. The proposal the government intends to bring to Parliament should not be short-term. They should tackle underlying factors such as production and supply. Kalonzo Musyoka, NASA Deputy President candidate, says Jubilee is taking Kenyans for a ride. What can they achieve in 2 months that they could not do in 5 years? In 5 years, we've seen the price of unga rise to 180, milk to 70, a kilo of waru 139, cooking gas from 800 to 1,000, and many, many other things. How are you going to do it as Jubilee?
Well, I think first of all, let's put this into context. You know that there is the economic crisis all across the world, and economic growth and development has gone down in many of the developed countries, leave alone underdeveloped countries. And as a result of that, we have the cost of living going up. And it's a question of supply and demand. But at the same time, recently, when we have removed taxes from some of the basic commodities like unga, the suppliers have not fallen into line to pass that benefit to the wananchi. And therefore, what we can do in Parliament is to be able to force the suppliers to pass on that benefit to ordinary people, so that in fact some of these commodities that have been rated, zero rated, can go down in price. But I mean, there is no magic word to this issue. There is no silver bullet to economic issues other than build and grow our economies, so that in the end we all benefit as a country and the cost of living goes down as a result of that.
Mheshimiwa Kaluma, what do you expect the government will come up with as a solution to the issue of food prices?
None at all, because they are to blame for it. You know, what is happening in the country, Charles, should show you that you should not have businessmen leading the country. And that is the tragedy where we find ourselves as a nation. A situation where, you know, from the top to the bottom, you have businessmen, you know, leading a country. And so the motivation for them to reduce prices is not there. As businessmen, they are trading with the state. You know, we are talking about milk prices. You and I and Yusuf, of course, know who is in control of the milk industry. How do you expect him to lower the milk prices? When you are talking about, you know, the prices of maize going up, who are involved in maize trade? And who are they stifling the production of maize locally so that they can import maize? And are they importing to give citizens for free or to make profit, whatever those amounts are? So what we need to do first is to realize that the Jubilee, it is not in the interest of the Jubilee administration to secure cost of living to go down, because they are doing business. You know, we've been talking about cost of living, Charles, for how long now? I mean, from the time Jubilee administration came back, how can it be that to Jubilee it only becomes an issue when we are nearing elections? It's because it matters not to them. Their pockets are full. They are trading with the lives and the blood of the people.
But Jubilee has no control of the weather situation in the country.
No, not well. Let me go there. That is where I'm going to. We had Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme. And Yusuf will be honest on this one, because he's usually honest, to tell you how many billions Parliament has allocated towards that project. What have we had from it? The 1 million acres which we were to irrigate, where are they? Before we entered Parliament, if you look at all the areas around Lake Victoria, from, you know, the border of, you know, Karachuonyo and Kisumu, you know, Karachuonyo constituency and Kisumu County, across to Soba, there was an irrigation project that was already, you know, planned and schemed and systems put in place. You know,
that is the one funded by the African Development Bank?
Not that. There was a national government one through the National Irrigation Board. You know, simply because you imagine that, you know, that zone is opposition, you don't want to implement a project that would be beneficial to the country overall. You know, we keep talking about fertilizer subsidies. Charles, in our areas, we've never seen these subsidized fertilizers. Yet, the land in Nyanza, in particular, is more fertile than even the land in central Kenya.
Incidentally, for the first time ever in a long time, areas that are perceived as drought-stricken areas, Ukambanis of this world, produced enough food. That means the government
is doing something. Can you imagine that? Yeah, so the government is not doing the right thing. So my position is that
by making sure that Ukambani produces enough food,
we are failing. Charles, let me close down on this. We are failing at the policy level. We are failing at the leadership level for the reasons I've told you. And of course, you know, we are failing fundamentally because we do not want to, you know, support devolution. Agriculture is a devolved function. The battle in Parliament has been, how do we facilitate, you know, the county governments to facilitate agricultural production down there? And this is the question, remember, I was asking Charles. What is the Ministry of Agriculture doing with hundreds of billions here when the counties cannot even just buy a tractor for people to use to cultivate? These are the policy issues we are dealing with. But in the long and short of it is that it is not in the interest of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto to stabilize cost of living, because this is what they are surviving on.
Policy issues are entrenched. I'll come to you. Policy issues are entrenched on the law. Laws are passed in Parliament. Where you sit, much more Yusuf seen. Jog my memory. Did you people bring any substantive bills to ensure that money that is retained by the headquarters in the Ministry of Agriculture is taken to?
I think we've done so many of them. We have done bills around fishery. You remember Milio Diambo's bill? Yeah. We've done bills around agriculture and how to ensure we have enough money in terms of subsidies and of course facilitating the county governments. But you remember what happens? Tyranny of numbers. This is why I started by telling you I'm so happy. The people who are not looking at the interest of the people have been shoved around. And let me congratulate the president on this. When complimenting the new entrants, the people who have been nominated, he said, listen to the society, not to me. Yeah, Yusuf and his team listened to President Uhuru Kenyatta, not the people. And I'm happy he's back, Kaluma, but I'm happy as so many of them have gone on.
Kaluma is speaking as if his own party hasn't lost a large number of its big fish.
I wish you'd retain that. Yes. Just hold on to that thought. Let me hear from him, because I'm sure he will not support Jubilee on this. Then you can react to both of them. Mheshimiwa Mweke, am I preempting your opinion on the issue of food prices and Jubilee government?
Well, it's not a matter of supporting the government or not supporting the government. It's a matter of what has been happening in our country since this government took power. If you look at the Deputy President's speech, either around inauguration or so on, he said a few things. He said that now the Jubilee government is going to bring unga down from 100 shillings to 60 shillings. It's now 180 shillings. He said that the manzis and the boys will now be able to apply for a job in the post office and come and get the jobs interview letters in the post office.
And I paraphrase, mahali imeandikwa hapa hakuna kazi, itaandikwa hapa kuna kazi.
Correct. So you're aware of that. Now we have unemployment highest that it has ever been since independence. Yeah. If you look at the petrol prices, right, it used to be 80-something shillings. Now you're north of 105, 106 shillings. If you look at the Kenya shilling to the dollar, they came in from the Grand Coalition government, it used to be 82, 83 shillings. Now you're 103, 104. This whole thing that Honorable Yusuf is talking about the global recession. The global recession was really during the Kibaki-Raila time in the Grand Coalition government. That's when the global recession was. Now the global economy has picked up. But then the economy was doing much better than it is now. One word, mismanagement. Completely mismanaged the economy. Let's look at food security that's bringing up all these things. Oh, by the way, jobs. Barclays shut down. Tuskys shut down. NGOs are shutting down and leaving. So jobs are losing because it's become untenable to do business in this country because of the kind of policies that the national government has. If you look at now inflation and even electricity, I keep hearing the deputy president and the president saying electricity has come down. Last month, April, we had the highest electricity bills ever in the history of this country.
And that was because of drought and power generation?
I wouldn't think so. I think it's because of the petrol going up, the food prices going up, transport costs going up, people losing jobs, the corruption that's going on where people are saying, let's steal because just...
You and I know, no matter what the government does, they have no control over fuel prices.
Yes, they do. They're the ones who even control it with the ERC.
I mean, the crude oil prices in the world are determined
They are going down.
They're going down. Why is ours going up?
They are trading at 43 shillings.
Yeah, actually, they're almost... and this is a good contrast. Hold on a second. Let me just finish my thought.
I need us to have Mheshimiwa Yusuf.
Yeah, it's going to come to you. Just let me finish my thoughts.
But,
It's
become
okay, finish it.
It's coming to you.
Finish it.
It's coming to you next. Just be patient for about 30 seconds.
It's okay.
All right? Now, global prices of crude are the lowest, but in Kenya, they're at the highest. It shows that there's some sort of business that's happening and trading happening within this government. Now, as I conclude, the key thing here about food security is devolution, right? Mheshimiwa Kaluma is spot on. Agriculture is devolved, but the national government wants to do irrigation in Galana. They want to import fertilizer. They want to import maize and sugar. All that is a devolved function. Water that drives agriculture is devolved, but you're seeing the national government taking money.
You made your point.
Going to build dams. So my point is, if you
30 billion a dam.
If you followed the constitution and devolved what should have been to the counties and follow it with the resources, even if 50% of the counties fail, you'll find 50% of the counties with food. But now that you've controlled everything centrally,
it's okay, Jonathan.
you find 100%
it's
of
okay.
the counties
You made your point.
without food.
You've made your point. But as Mheshimiwa Yusuf reacts, I also need to remind you that as it is now, our economy is on the upward trend, according to Treasury statistics. According to Treasury statistics.
No, Charles, upward for who?
Absolutely.
Yusuf gave you people a chance.
Upward for Jubilee leaders or for Kenyans.
Yusuf gave you people a chance. It's just prudent that we give him a chance.
Absolutely. First of all, it is very, very clear. And in fact, the deputy governor contradicts himself. At one point, he said Nairobi was getting the highest foreign investment than many cities in the world. Nairobi was attracting the largest number of international conferences.
Correct.
And events. Who is leading that Nairobi thing he's talking about? First of all, this investment is coming into Kenya because of the leadership of Jubilee. Our economy is growing.
Jubilee is the governor of Nairobi.
Nairobi is the capital of Kenya, and it's the Jubilee government that is attracting these conferences. Who is coming here? Presidents, not governors.
Who cleans the city?
No, but let me respond.
It's okay.
If the city was not clean,
it's all right.
Those people would not.
It's all right, Jonathan. You made your point.
Those people would not.
Jonathan, you made your point.
You have lost the debate.
Yeah.
You have lost the debate.
Go on.
First of all, our economy is growing from strength to strength. The government has heavily invested in infrastructure. We're building more roads. We have the railway from Mombasa to Nairobi that has been built on record time. We are now attracting the largest attention in terms of international conferences, as the deputy governor himself has said. These conferences are coming here because of the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee government. We are attracting leaders from all over the world who are coming to our capital city for international conferences. These are not conferences run by the opposition or the local government, the county government here in Nairobi.
Are they run by the Jubilee government or by the Kenya government?
The Kenya government is the Jubilee government, which has which is the government now that they're questioning.
But
its
you have
authority.
to bid for those conferences.
The
You have to
second-
bid for them.
Yes, but
You have to bid for them. If you bid for them, they ask you, because I bid for one. I bid for an international event that's coming in July.
I can
The
tell
World
you-
Youth Conferences were asked, is your city clean? Does the transport system work? Can you control the traffic? Is it
I
safe?
listen
Does
to
it have
you.
street lights?
I listen to you,
They ask
but
those
you-
things.
you don't
so
want
if we
to-
had not done those
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
Jonathan,
no
I wish
amount of
you'd just
bidding
give Hassan a
would have
chance.
done would have made those things to come.
I wish
I'm
you'd
just
just give-
correcting lies.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay.
So
Just
we-
correcting lies.
the Jubilee government is doing extremely well in terms of the economy, in terms of investment, and in terms of public reaction to it. They're talking about devolution. The devolved functions are not functioning at all. Devolved government is failing in implementing roads in our capital city. It is failing in implementing health facilities. How do you expect the central government to give away more of something that they are unable to do? They simply do not have the capacity. And therefore our country would grind to a halt if we continue.
So you agree that the national government is taking over devolved functions?
No, the central government has to carry some of those functions because
Despite
Against
the
the law.
constitution devolving them.
no, some of them have been devolved, like roads. I don't know how many roads have been built in Nairobi by the county government.
176.
Not a single one in my constituency. Not a
176.
single one.
We have agreed that we'll solve that
Yes.
on Monday. What I need you to tell me, this foreign investment, or the conferences and all, how has it affected the food prices for the common mwananchi?
Well,
His argument was
but-
the
but-
people who are feeling good in this economy are the people in leadership. I'm talking about Wanjiku.
No, definitely we need to do, as a legislator, we need to do a lot to bring the cost of living down. The cost of living has to be brought down so that we can help ordinary people. And I think that is what the president has said at the Bomas the other day, that he would do whatever is necessary, including intervention at the legislature level, so that we can impose restrictions on suppliers who are not passing that benefit to the wananchi.
Somebody is asking, why did it take this long for the president to say that or to do something?
Well, I mean, it is better late than never. I think it is important that we do it now.
If they didn't do it in 5 years, can they do it in 2
Charles,
months?
The teachers went on strike. It was can't pay, won't pay until our learning institutions crashed.
But
For
where
you
would
know
the
how
money
long.
have come from? You know, let's
For you
talk.
know how long.
He is in the budget
The doctors
making committee.
Went on strike.
Went on strike.
A devolved
It
function.
it was over 90 days for the government to come in to say we want to. And by the way, you are seeing they are threatening to go back again.
A
It is
devolved function.
A devolved function. And then just before the doctors went on strike, you remember, Charles, what were we saying? There was the AFIA, you know, gambling of over 5.2 billion in doing things like mobile clinics. Remember, the national government deals with national health referral facilities only. Now, those mobile clinics, of which a mere container was costing 10 million, where are they in the national government remit? Let me make it simple.
He's asked a very
Bwana
pertinent
Yusuf.
question.
Let-
You sit in the budget committee.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. But they know it. Whatever the budget committee does, it is the tyranny of numbers. And I thanked the people in the Jubilee, you know, strongholds for sending them home. Let me tell Yusuf this,
But
Charles.
many of the ODM people have also
Yusuf,
been set, including the
Yusuf,
deputy leader of the party in parliament.
No,
has gone.
it's before tribunal.
Yes,
He did not
but
go.
he's
We
gone.
know he has his chances in the judicial process. Let us allow him to go through that. He may come back with a struggle in the manner you did, but ultimately we are hopeful he will come. What we are saying, Charles, is that when you undermine devolution, you undermine agricultural production, which is, you know, a devolved function. When you undermine agricultural production, you only create opportunity for businessmen to exploit Kenyans. And
Tenderpreneurs,
let
they are
me
called.
tell, yes, let me tell Yusuf that it is never in the interest of business people to reduce prices. It is in their interest to get money. That is why I'm saying we outlined as NASA 7 pillars. In one of those pillars, and you know people have been shouting, other than power sharing, what are you planning to do for the country? We deliberately said that we will not allow a leader, whether it is our president, whether it is our deputy president, his co-president, whether it's the prime minister we are creating and his deputies, whether it's a member of parliament, to have interest in trading with the state. That is where the problem is. I can tell you it is not in the interest of President Uhuru Kenyatta, it is not in the interest of Deputy President Ruto to have prices go. I've had them, I saw them debate here. I saw them debate here yesterday.
By that outrageous
yes, I saw them debate here. No, but you know the owner of CMC and the milk farms.
No, that's not true at all.
Yes.
The president is not a businessman, nor is the deputy president.
Let me tell you, let me tell you. You heard them say here that rent cannot be reduced. When our flag bearer in NASA said we have to reduce rent. Remember, out of policy you can do that. Yusuf, we have Rent Restrictions Act as a law in this country.
Which has been in this country forever.
Forever, and we are dealing with it. How Jubilee interfered with rent is that you remember there was a taxation imposed of between 18% to 30% on rent. When that is increased, you go deep into the pocket of people. You are squeezing them on milk, you are squeezing them on maize, you are squeezing them on sugar. The entrepreneurs have a field day. And these entrepreneurs are Jubilee. So out of policy and law enforcement, we can do so much. Let us agree to save the people of Kenya.
Mheshimiwa Yusuf has raised a very pertinent issue that I want the two of you to react to. Yes. And he said the national government is called upon to take up some of these devolved functions instead of letting wananchi suffer. Do you agree that there are some county government leaderships that have failed in service delivery? I start with you, Jonathan.
You'll start with me. And just very specific because we don't have time. Mheshimiwa Hassan said take over health because the Nairobi County government has done zero in health. When we came in, we had 42 health centers that were operating.
He actually didn't say take over, he said supplement.
Supplement.
Help.
We had 42 health centers in Nairobi that were working. Now we have 91 health centers that are working. That's almost double. We had 0 health centers that opened 24 hours. Now we have 17 health centers opening. We had, out of the 42, we had 80% of them without medicine. Now all 91 health centers have medicine and drugs. We see 14 patients a minute in Nairobi.
So then is this, does this resonate to other counties?
That shows that we have really done whatever it takes to increase healthcare in Nairobi. We did not need the national government to restrict giving us money to put for us equipment in our health centers that we did not need. We did not need the national government to go without our knowledge and buy containers for 10 million shillings for healthcare that we did not need. We needed, as a local government, to be given our share of that devolved function because we understand the needs of the healthcare of the people of our city so that we can cater for their needs.
But his concern is if the little you give is wasted, why give more?
I've just explained why we have not wasted
it. Charles,
yes.
Charles,
we have actually
let me answer you straight.
We've not wasted
the interest of the national government in devolved functions has been business. And Yusuf, let me tell you, it is very painful. You know, yesterday I watched the president saying that there are 2 referral hospitals in each county under his administration now. Which one in Homa Bay County is this? From Homa Bay to Nyamira, to Migori, to Kisii, we only have a referral facility in Kisii, a level 5, facility there. And you remember in all the hospitals, major hospitals in these counties, some equipments were procured from God knows where and dumped there. Are the facilities which were taken by the national government to Homa Bay County Referral Hospital working? Not working. You have kidney dialysis machines, but there is no specialized nurse to undertake the process. So these things were, procured from wherever they were procured, to gain whatever monies were to be gained without considering the need of the county. They are dumped there so long as the counties are paying 38 million, but they are lying idle. So the interest of the national government should be to keep off so that these counties which have challenges in terms of coming up are strengthened in terms of capacity as we move forward. For now, we have monies being thrown in, facilities being thrown in. And remember, the national government is telling you we are the ones who have taken. But a county like Homa Bay is paying over 38 million each year, which they would have used to prioritize, drugs, medicine, and other things. So national government has to keep off devolved functions and allow the money to follow.
The two gentlemen have cast certain aspersions.
Yeah, but I think here it has been the opposition has completely failed to convince the Kenyan public that they are an alternative. They don't have any programs. They don't have an agenda.
What is blame game.
Yes, what they are doing is to blame the government for intervening to help the Kenyan public at the health level, to intervene at the educational level, to intervene at every level where the opposition has failed, even in areas which is run by county governments that are part of the opposition. Nairobi is a failure. If you go to Kisumu, it is a failure. They've just changed their leadership in ODM at the county level. Everywhere the opposition is in power, the public has reacted in these recent nominations by removing them.
Nandi Hills?
Yeah, Nandi Hills is
Nandi County?
Yeah, but in all those areas where the public has reacted, there is a need for change.
Those are not opposition
areas.
Yes,
but even in the opposition areas,
Nyeri.
The government has failed. The county governments that were under the opposition have failed. And now they are looking for food prices. These are economic factors, supply and demand. They're looking at health issues where the devolved government has completely...
It is supply and demand for them.
Has failed. And it is very clear here on the question of commodities and food prices. The president is very concerned. He has expressed his concern. He is going to do something about it. He's asked Parliament to do something and to intervene. And instead of the opposition saying, well done, Mr. President, for intervening on this issue, they're criticizing him.
Who has the numbers in Parliament, in the National Assembly, from your opposition?
Jubilee has them.
Jubilee has
Yes.
them. Did they have to wait for the president to instruct them to do this?
No,
and to you as representatives,
No, but
seeing the
recently
suffering
the
of...
government intervened by removing taxation, by removing VAT on certain food products. To alleviate the suffering of the ordinary
So
people.
it's the business people who refuse to comply.
Yes,
Charles,
it is the suppliers
Charles, let me just
who are not
conclude
passing
one.
that benefit.
Jonathan, I want us to take a
They're
break
not
from this.
passing that benefit to the Mwananchi. And this is what we're going to do in Parliament this week.
Fair enough.
We've invited Mheshimiwa Yusuf every year to attend our budget session so that we fix Nairobi together. He's not attended one meeting.
Maybe he was busy.
One meeting.
Maybe he was busy.
The governor has
attending to other
invited
issues.
Mheshimiwa Yusuf to come and tell us what is it we can do for his constituency.
Together.
4 years in a row, together. He has not attended one meeting.
But that is not true because the budget processes in county government in Nairobi is a war zone. You know, why would I go and put myself at danger when in fact, yes,
Other MPs have
you
come.
have not been able to do it
No,
yourselves.
other MPs have come.
Yeah, you have been under siege from the MCAs.
I am loving what's happening in Nairobi County. The good thing is the viewers who are the voters in
They
Nairobi are
expect
watching.
Sonko to run it well.
And they'll be making critical decisions on this. When we come back, gentlemen, Parliament resumes tomorrow. Quite a packed tray. We'll be looking at some of the things you expect. And of course, we'll be asking a question. Should the government resolve the issue of food prices, which has been the pet campaign slogan for the opposition? What next? Will the carpet have been swept, or will you find something else? In a short while, because we realize corruption is one of the issues, as is outlined on page 6 of the Daily Nation. But for now, let's have a break and get some entertainment from the band.